bed, soaking up the nothingness today. I am changing one thing about my own philosophy here. I've kind of had a philosophy of not remembering things. Like in life, my idea has been the human brain is so valuable, and it takes so much effort to remember things that a computer or a piece of paper can remember so much better. So I spent a good 2 or 3 years, not that I was ever much of a rememberer before, but just saying I don't need to remember things. I just write them down and then have the computer tell me. And really, you can get by in life doing that. It's kind of how teachers, let's say in the past, oh, what are you going to do? Carry a calculator around with you everywhere every time you need to do math? And, the phone can really replace a lot of what your human brain has to do for thinking. But I feel like I've been running into more and more scenarios as life goes on where my recall for anything is just atrocious. And I feel like because I have not been utilizing my brain in any sort of high functioning way outside of the conversations I have with people, that I am really lacking the neural pathways to make new connections faster and more accurately. And I feel like I gotta keep my brain sharp by attempting to remember things and connecting things together. And my friend Trey is really good at this game called Cine 2 Nerdle, which is kind of a movie trivia game where you name a film, and then you have to name another film that is linked to that one via the actors or directors or composers, or it has to be linked by someone who worked on the other film. And I have seen a bunch of movies. I hit 800 on Letterboxd just recently, and I cannot for the life of me play that game because I know maybe who directed a movie and maybe 2 or 3 films that I directed, and they're probably all David Fincher films or Christopher Nolan films, and my bag just feels so shallow. So what I did last night was I went through and I downloaded my whole list of all the films I watched. I sorted out all the short films that aren't going to have any overlap, and then in a spreadsheet I highlighted all the films that have other people in other films that I have seen. So I'm only studying the films that are going to have overlap that I can kind of cross-reference to other things. And I think it's a pretty good boiled down list. I went from 801 to 386. So I took out about 100 short films, 100 plus short films, and then some kind of random one-off films that are not really going to have other overlap. All the Scooby-Doo films I watched as a kid they're only insular to themselves, minus I suppose the Scooby-Doo meets Batman has Mark Hamill in it. So, you could pull from there if you really want to dive bomb into some niche stuff. But pretty much everything has more overlap. And then I've been interested in using the Anki flashcard app before. And on that, people use it for language learning, or for medical students who are doing work for studying different parts of the human body and stuff like that. And I've always been interested in it, but I never had a super clear purpose. And, I want to one day learn Spanish, but I think this will be a good way for me to kind of use Anki and kind of get used to the process. And I've also been wanting something to use on my phone that is a time killer, so to say, that isn't a Reddit or Instagram or a doom scrolling. And I feel I can just do all the studying on my phone, and I have this with me everywhere. So if I'm just somewhere and I need to kill time, what better way to do it in a productive kind of sense, but also something that's going to help me, again, create those new mental connections, but also allow me to demolish Trey in the marketplace of cinema trivia. So I think this will be kind of a fun way to go screw around on my phone and kind of go forward. And the process doesn't really feel like studying. It definitely feels like you're doing recall, but there are times before, especially if I'm trying to learn computer science or learn something that feels super, super out of my wheelhouse, that I literally feel my prefrontal cortex revving up, and it just begins to feel more frustrating. That usually happens when I'm doing math, and I just don't understand it. But it's just doing repetition, and the idea of the Anki cards is that it'll keep showing you cards that you are struggling on, and you kind of rate yourself when you need to see them show up later. So, yeah, it's good to practice that recall as you're just starting to forget something and kind of have it go back in. Bearing the cold today to do my long run, my 50-minute scheduled training run. There's a lot of good reasons to not do this run today, including the weather, but my toe still feels a little funky. I don't know if it's like pressure from the shoe or like my feet expanding in the shoe, even though I did size up by half a size when I got these, but I'm just gonna try and take it easy. I think my biggest reason is trying to keep my step streak going as well, because I don't really want to just walk back and forth within the hostel. Ooh, it's so clean over here now. It's a little sprinkly, a little chilly. Definitely once I start going it'll be good, but there'll be some pressure on the toe as well. So just gonna try and run along the water and kind of cruise along in a straightforward path and see where we go from there. Oh, we got a snowman in the workout zone. I cut the running like 5 minutes short, but still got a good 45 minutes in. My toe hurt a little bit towards the beginning, but really not too bad once I got going. I was trying to very intentionally not like overcorrect or take pressure off in the way that I was running, and try not to lean too much to the outside of my foot. I know it definitely was a little, so that was probably contributing to the lack of pain, but it feels pretty normal. Compared to when I was running yesterday, I didn't really have too much actual pressure. It was only until afterwards that I felt it, so maybe it'll come back a little harder. But yeah, I tried to keep it pretty light on the feet today, so hopefully the slower pace, even though it was for longer, it was even to add, or at least didn't worsen it. And I don't have any more runs for the next 2 days, so hopefully it should be able to fully reset here, which will be good. Fumbled a little bit today. I'm pretty sure what happened this morning was, I had stayed up a bit late watching the movie, and then I'd set my alarm for 7:30. I was working at 8. All I have to do is go downstairs and get dressed and all that. And I'm pretty sure I just woke up this morning, I turned my alarm off, and I went back to sleep, which is something I would do on a weekend for sure, but that's pretty out of character for me. So first time I've been late in, I don't know, probably a couple years, but that's okay. I'm just getting older. I might be sleeping more soundly. But I have a very short commute. I have a very simple uniform. I just got up, put my clothes on real quick, brushed my teeth, and then headed down there. So only 20 minutes late for a super slow day. So no big deal. And I mean, I was really only there for, I missed like 20 minutes of like serving, and the only people that had signed up for breakfast hadn't even come yet. So I don't think I missed anything, luckily. And I was able to help for really the bulk of all the cleaning, the sweeping, putting out the menus. I served the people that did have pre-placed order, put stuff away, and there was even extra food for me to snack on. So hey, worked out well, and they're being generous for me today, which I appreciate. And they just said, just do the breakfast shift this morning, and don't worry about housekeeping because you let us know about the interview that you have. So hey, I'm just taking it as like, it's not a bad start to the day. I got more sleep to prepare to be ready. Let's make lemonade out of it, right? The beard has been shaped up. I have put on lip balm so my lips aren't chapped. I have my nicest button-up shirt of what I have, my coat. I have my cleanest dirty pants on. I wiped down my one pair of shoes that I have to make them look a little bit cleaner. Hopefully the hole in this isn't too apparent. And if it is, I'm just a trendy urban man. Yeah, just about to head out here for the interview. Feel a little bit of nerves, which is good. Means I got some at stake here. And yeah, it's only like a little 20-30 minute walk over and just go perform. I haven't done any like sort of thinking or preparing and just gonna go in and speak to my strengths and we'll see how it goes. So I finally found some dental floss. They do not sell this anywhere besides pharmacy. On top of that, I don't know, it was kind of a weird interview. They asked about me for maybe 5 out of the 25 minutes that we spoke. I feel like they would want to know more, but I guess they just kind of talked about what the job would be like a little bit more, and they talked about how the business has been and how busy it's been and kind of what the work culture is like, which are all good things that I would want to know, but they didn't ask me too many things, which I feel like if you wanted to hire someone, that would be something that you'd want to ask about more. So I don't know if they were just doing it more as a formality, because they did say there was another girl that was coming from a different location that kind of already worked within the sub branch or like kind of the parent company for them. So maybe it would have been good for them to go with her, but maybe it just depends if she shows up and that another person that they wanted to go with interview too. But it seems like maybe they'll just go with me if the other girl doesn't show up, but if she does show up, then she would have seniority. But there's also 2 roles that we're hiring for. So I guess we'll find out by the end of the week. I'll just keep the job application process going. I was in the area, had to make a Aldi's haul. 6 eggs for only £1? Steal. Man, just had a good 4-hour-long call with one of my best buddies, Sam. We caught up on our media trade contracts. We threw some ideas back and forth throughout films and life, and trying to maybe do some more focused meditation. So always good to just chat with someone and reconnect like you're just hanging out. That's a cool utility that video web cameras can do. So really great to catch up with him. The video calls have been great for my sanity. Just talking to people who know you well is really important, and I take for granted the people that are in my life, but I try and always keep putting in effort to maintain those connections, because they're important and they're the fuel that keeps you going mentally. So big shout out to the friends and family